Thank you very much for the street by my father's name. My father once showed refugees the way to escape from Holocaust. And this street now shows young people the future next to this very meaningful planetarium.
After the German conquest of Poland in September 1939, several thousand Polish Jews managed to flee into the still independent state of Lithuania to the city of Kaunas, and they feared that the next phase of Germany's advance would be into Lithuania. But they had no means of getting out, they had no documentation. Two diplomats in Kaunas came to their rescue. One was actually a businessman, Jan Zwardendyk, and the other was a very remarkable Japanese diplomat, Chiune Sugihara. And these two men cooked up a scheme which had no legality, no validity. Zwardendyk issued a document stating, which was true, that no visa was required to go to the Dutch Caribbean island of Curaçao.
Wonderful to walk on the street with no cars.
Yeah. So we're
looking for the building where Zwardendyk worked.
Oh.
You know, Zwardendyk made these transit visas possible.
This is the place.
This is the place.
This is where it was before, until
1928. In 1940, it was located at 29, where Jan Zwardendyk, the famous businessman, diplomat, and humanist of the Netherlands, worked. And he helped several thousand people to emigrate and escape danger.
And his stamp was on your visa.
So yes,
well.
So these two students had this brilliant idea. They were Dutch citizens, and Curaçao was a Dutch colony. And so they went to Zwardendyk and they said, could you stamp our visa, saying that no visa to Curaçao is required.
Sugihara issued transit visas based on this Curaçao document, saying that Japan had no objection whatsoever to people who had transit visas going through Japan. And so these Jews made this incredibly long journey right across European Russia, right across Siberia to Japan.
You don't connect these bureaucratic actions, like a visa, to the actual saving of a life.
Yeah.
It's a hard connection to make.
Yeah. Not when you see you, though.
My brother-in-law managed to get as far as the house in which Sugihara lived and also had his office. And when he got to the place, the whole area around the house was full of people. In front of the house, and there was a gate, there were thousands of people all trying to get in.
And that's when he cabled to Japan that he wanted to do this, and they said no.
Apparently he wasn't allowed to issue any visas other than specific visas or specific instructions from his government. This is quite interesting. They just showed it to me. That, by the way, is me at the age of 13. That's me too at about the same time.
This is just like that stamp in my passport.
Yeah, it is.
Where do we go next? Oh, look, this is his office.
And this is my sister, together with Mrs. Sugihara. That was taken after the war in Israel.
And this must be the stamp. Can we do it?
Yeah, I guess.
Ah,
yeah,
how about
it's
that?
in French.
Oh, wow.
And this is the list of names on this desk.
Oh, yeah, I want to see that.
Joseph Franco.
Joseph, no, that's not no connection to our Frankos.
Now, I know that we were somewhere in the 400s. Here it is. Here it is.
Oh, wow.
Number 459. Well, that's certainly my lucky number.
Yeah.
Unless I just glanced over to Mr.
How old were you
Ah,
then?
here we are.
There you are, look.
Number 77, Barrel Shore.
Isn't that incredible? This can't be the original. It might be.
It's a good contrast to the list of people who had to go.
Who had to go. The list for deportation, right? This is a list for life.
Yeah.
And the story is that, you know, his wife would come down and rub his hands because he was completely exhausted. He did this morning and night. See this butterfly pin that I wear?
Yeah.
It's like the butterfly effect, which is how something starts, you know, way down the line, across time and space, it gets amplified into something else. And so you can't predict where it's going to go. And so you never know what you let loose when you do something. Now, what he let loose was goodness.
The sacrifices of Sugihara and his wife are inspirational, showing that each of us can start our own butterfly effect of goodness.
Thanks to Zwardendyk and Sugihara, as many as 3,000 Jews were saved, including all the Jewish students of the Mir Yeshiva, the Orthodox Religious Academy.
He was, of course, thrown out of the Foreign Office. His pension was cancelled. He worked for a living, if you can call that a living, by being a porter in one of the harbors of Japan, carrying heavy loads from ship to shore, backwards and forwards. He really paid for it. He paid with his health.
What on earth made him do it? He had no particular tie to the Jewish people. I really think that he was a very decent man. And he didn't spring into being a decent man full-blown like Venus from the half-shell and Botticelli's painting. He got there by all the small choices that he made throughout his lifetime. And when he was faced with a choice like this one, that was a habit of his character to do the right thing. He was that kind of person through all the life choices he had made.